too, like it, since it's a chunky sweater. Maddie?
Hi, Maddie. This is
Really?
Maddie.
Have you been like talking to Hamilton or something?
Yeah. Welcome to Knitting My Shit Together, a knitting and fiber arts podcast where neurodivergence and yarn collide. My name is Farrah. I use she, her pronouns. I live in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And you can find me on Instagram at TomboyFemBags and on Ravelry at Farrah Knits.
Hi, I'm Annika. I use they, them pronouns, and I am in Moses Lake, Washington. You can find me online at T-Fueled Living on Instagram and at Threadcatcher on Ravelry.
Yeah, that's us. You can find us both, our joint account for the podcast, on at Knitting My Shit Together on Instagram, in case you wanted to. So,
and also have a Ravelry group that you can find us at with Knitting My Shit Together with, it's the I that's missing, right? It's asterisk instead.
Yeah.
On Ravelry.
Yeah. And the links to everything will either be in the description box below or in our link tree on Instagram. Yeah. Today's episode 29. We are almost to episode 30, which is bananas. This shit is bananas.
It's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Yeah.
Okay. But we want to start episode 29 by saying hello to our number one fan, Arissa. Hi, Arissa.
Hi, Arissa.
We love you. Okay. And then we have a drawing to do.
We do.
We are really high tech with our drawings here at Knitting My Shit Together. We're on it. We have a Pokemon ball. Is that what that's called?
We have a Pokeball. This was a gift. It's actually like a matching set of bowls that go together and that you can like close and lock. So like things don't spill all over your car when you're transporting food.
That's pretty rad, actually.
So all of the names, all of the names are on pieces of paper in the Pokeball.
So this is the first giveaway in our Cover Your Ass Cal, hashtag Cover Your Ass Cal. And basically over the past 2 weeks, anybody who posted using the hashtag Cover Your Ass Cal and showed progress of their nether garments or whatever they are knitting to cover their ass got entered in the drawing. And that we're going to have more giveaways, and the Cal, or make along or crochet along, whatever, the along, is happening. It started October 1st, and it's going all the way till March 31st, so you have plenty of time to join still, because we have plenty of giveaways coming up. And we're doing the Elizabeth Zimmerman nether garment pattern, which everybody is loving who starts it. People look at it and are like, no way, and then they get going knitting it and love it. And also, I want to talk about quick, a new pattern got released this week that is a recipe. That's pants, and it's fingering weight, but I think since it's a recipe you could use any weight and all color work, and it is freaking gorgeous. I can't remember the name of it. I'll put it here, but you should go check that out on Ravelry as well. And so now, yeah, what were you going to say, Annika? You went to go say something and then I cut you off.
And then my mind went blank. So it's cool. We're good. Obviously it wasn't important.
So we're going to draw for the first giveaway in our Cover Your Ass Cal, and the winner will get, yes.
Oh, if you need pattern support, like with acquiring said pattern or with the math required for the pattern, there's not a lot of math. There's just a little bit. But if you need help with that, or if you need yarn support for this project, and you would like to do it, message Farrah or I or the Knitting My Shit Together Instagram, and we can get you hooked up.
We're here for you. We just, and by we, I mean Annika, the proverbial we, kind of, for Annika and I.
The royal we.
The royal we. So we taught somebody how to do top socks this morning, didn't we?
We did, and I taught someone how to knit in the round yesterday, so
yeah. What the world needs is, so Annika is a Capricorn who is really, really good at, like, directions and teaching things, and I'm an Aquarius who has lots of enthusiasm and can get people pumped about things, and put the two together, boom. But, yeah, I was like, oh, we'll teach you how to knit. I told this person, Rochelle, hi, Rochelle, and we'll teach you how to knit top socks. Totally, no problem. And, you know, people say they want to learn and that they'll hit you up all the time and then never do. But Rochelle actually did, which I respect, like, gold star for follow through. But then I was like, oh, fuck, now I have to teach somebody how to knit socks. So I was like, Annika, will you help me?
Yeah.
And Annika did
yes. So in case our lovely viewers don't know, I used to teach dance lessons for ballroom, and I used to teach knitting and crocheting lessons, and now I'm currently getting my degree in elementary education, so, like, I actually enjoy teaching.
And I shared with Annika, this is the kind of teacher I am. I had a friend when I was, like, 13, I used to ski, downhill ski, and she wanted to learn how to downhill ski, so I said, well, yeah, come with us when we go to the ski hill someday. So she came, and we took the T-bar up to the top of the bunny hill. Now, I do get a wind that it was only the bunny hill. And she was like, okay, now what do I do when we got to the top? She's never skied in her life. Like, it's her first time wearing skis. And I just looked at her and I go, just go down. And I just took off. Totally oblivious to the fact that this was not helpful. And my friend was essentially stranded at the top of a hill. Yeah. Okay. Let's draw from the Pokeball.
Let's draw. In case anyone wants to know, my favorite Pokemon's Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur's been my favorite since the beginning. I don't know. The idea of, like, a plant and a dinosaur Pokemon all together, just, like, love it. Okay. Here we go. And the winner is Gianna.
Yeah!
Gianna returned gold.
Gianna. Yay. So Gianna is going to win a skein of Knitting My Shit Together themed yarn dyed by Tea Time Fiber Arts. She designed a custom colorway based on the Knitting My Shit Together logo, inspired by it, and it's lovely. Annika and I are both getting a sweater's worth. If any of you would like some, I'll put a picture of it here. Bloop. I have to do these so that when I'm editing, I see it and know to put the picture here. And you can go to the Tea Time Fiber Arts pre-order link, which is in the description box down below, and order your own if you aren't Gianna and didn't just win some by entering the cow. So, yay, Gianna!
You can go to the website also and order more if they so choose.
Yeah. So I am going to, and Sarah, who's Tea Time Fiber Arts, is doing sock sets for it in the new year.
It will be released in January.
Yeah, in the new year, which will be pretty amazing. So that would be like a skein of sock yarn plus a coordinating mini to do socks. Mm-hmm. So Gianna, I will be DMing you probably tonight to let you know. And then Sarah will be sending the yarn to you. And just know she probably won't be able to do it this week. This week is kind of a hectic week where many people celebrate colonialism and the invasion of North America by Europeans. So, yeah. But we'll just leave that there. Let's see what else. Patches. We have patches that we're doing Knitting My Shit Together merit badges, and we have our first two up for pre-order. The link is on the Tomboy Fembags website. If and the pre-order is going to be open through January. So yeah, I was just thinking about the quandary about me reconstructing my site, but having the pre-order link. But that's okay. I'll figure it out and make it work.
It's a completely different tab, so it should be okay, right?
Yeah, but I think if I go under construction, I have to do, but I can just take a couple of the tabs offline is what I can do as I rebuild. So it will be fine. Okay. Anywho, you can, the link to that is in the description box down below. And there's also a link in our link tree, and on Ravelry in the group. And we have 2 patches. The first is the Cover Your Ass Cal merit badge. For if you participate in that, you don't even have to complete, just if you participate. And the other patch is a subscriber patch. If you're a subscriber to Knitting My Shit Together, you can get a subscriber patch. And the idea is you can sew these on a knitting bag, a project bag, whatever you want. We just thought it would be fun to have merit badges, so we started that. Okay, Patreon. Vlogmas is coming up. December 1st, Vlogmas begins for our patrons. Annika and I will be posting. One of us will be posting, or both of us, every day through the month of December. So that's extra content that's available for our patrons at any level, from the $1 to $1 million a month level. I'm going to always keep saying that as a level.
That someone someday is going to pledge $1 million.
It'll be awesome. So if you would like to get that content, become a patron. The link to our Patreon page is down below and in our link tree. Yes, and there's a survey on there. I haven't checked this week. I've been really busy making bags to see if anybody has responded, but I put a post to our patrons who can contribute content, which is the $2 level, asking what you would like to see for Vlogmas. So please go put your 2 cents in, like, what zany things do you want to see Annika and I do? We'll do it. Won't we, Annika?
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep, we will.
Yeah. I think that's it for business. We just have one more thing left to do before we get into FOs and whips, which is to do a little call out. Annika, you can go for it, and then I'll put in my 2 cents.
There was a designer earlier today who posted a testing call for a sweater they're releasing, and it's a really nice looking sweater. It's like 3/4 sleeves, has like a leopard print yoke, like totally interested in it. However, I was apprehensive because they posted that they were only going up to size 3X, and they didn't post any finished bust measurements or anything like that.
Like, what does 3X?
I commented asking what the finished bust size was of the 3X, and they said 55 inches, and they didn't give how much ease they were using or anything like that either. But I'm like, oh, dang it. Like, I love this sweater, but I need a 60-inch bust, because while I currently do not actually need a 60-inch bust, Farrah and I fully believe that making size-inclusive patterns only is really important, because if we aren't standing up for other people in our community who, like, can't have access to patterns because of size, like, that we should be.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the designer of said sweater only responded with, "Oh, bummer, sad face," and that was it. And so
yeah, what's the name of that designer? Because we want to tag them, so in our mentions that we mentioned them, so hopefully they're watching this to see when they're mentioned. And if you're watching this, please do the work to make your pattern inclusive. It is 2019, almost 20, for crying out loud. Like, nobody should have to feel the shame and stigma of having to request that a pattern get made in their size because it's not inclusive. Like, every body is valuable and beautiful and deserves to wear beautiful things, like your beautiful sweater.
And if you're doing the math to get the pattern up to that size anyways,
it's just 5
like
inches.
That means that you have a formula that you're using. Like, take the extra half hour or hour of your time and grade it up a couple more sizes. Like,
and please don't tell us that people themselves could do that, because the thing is, that's your job. You're the designer, and that's why people pay you for the pattern, so that they don't have to design one themselves. Like, I know how to design a sweater off of a recipe. Like, I know how to do that. I'm doing it right now. I'm making a sweater custom fit for myself, but I'm willing to do the math to do that. But if I buy a pattern, it's because I don't want to do the math. I want somebody else to do the math for me, and I just want to follow it.
Yep. So, colorfully handmade. Like, it's 2019. Like, get your shit together.
Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please. Okay. That's our little call up. Okay. FOs. Annika, I know you have an FO.
I have 2 FOs. I have 2. Can everyone feel how, like...
You do?
Yeah, I do, because the one that I finished the week before, I never grabbed.
Oh.
Right. So I actually have 2 FOs to share.
Yay.
Is everyone else as excited as I am that I, like, finally finished a project? Because, like, I'm super excited right now. Okay, so the first project that I finished is The City of Jasmine Cowl by Hawari Bizarro. Corinne is amazing. Corinne dyes, like, the most amazing, like, BTS-inspired yarn and also Sailor Moon-inspired yarn. If anyone is, like, interested, go check them out because the colorways are just so gorgeous and her yarn is so soft and squishy. And, like, to be honest, like, she's my yarn dyer soulmate. Like, she just gets my aesthetic. Which is, like, bright rainbow, in case you couldn't tell. So, anyway, so I test knit her City of Jasmine cowl, and I used just Stash acrylic yarn. It's a worsted weight cowl. It's stranded colorwork with a couple little intarsia options, or you can strand colorwork those if you so choose. And yeah, I knit this in 2 days. Like, it was such a pleasurable knit, and I love it. And since I walk my kids and a bunch of other kids to school in the mornings, it keeps my neck warm. And I did an extra loose bind off. I did, was it Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off?
Yeah.
And it keeps my neck warm enough, but makes it so my glasses don't fog up, which is really nice because it has been, like, in the teens while walking children to school, and that's not as pleasant. The other FO that I have is I finished a sweater, and
it's so lovely.
So I blame Sultan and Farrah for this, like, in a good way, as one does. And they have gotten me, like, fully on the Elizabeth Zimmerman train. Like, I was like, I really want to knit myself a sweater, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. And I have this bulky yarn. And Sultan's like, you should make the hurry up last minute sweater. And I'm like, okay. And so I did. And it is, like, honestly so comfy, and it was a really, really fast knit, and I'm hooked on Elizabeth Zimmerman now. The yarn that I used was Karen Chunky Cakes in elderberry jelly, and I used US 15 needles, which I think is 10 millimeter, because I wasn't willing to pay, like, $22 for the tips for the size 17s.
Yeah.
and it was the same price as like normal interchangeable tips for the size 15s. I'm like, that's weird. So I don't know. But the yarn that I used, the Karen Chunky Cakes, I got on clearance, and I only used like 2 3/4 of a ball. And so my sweater technically cost less than $15 to make.
Nice.
Which was like really exciting, and it's comfy. And yeah. So those are my 2 FOs.
You have worn it almost every day since you finished it, which I love.
That's because like it's been cool enough to snow here, but hasn't actually snowed yet. We had freezing fog the past 2 days.
Ooh, I love that.
Like where like
the hoarfrost.
Every side is frosty, and like there was like I'd say probably like 1/4 to 1/2 inch of ice on all of the cars, and it was just there constantly because of the freezing fog. So it's kept me really warm, and I really just like also too like it since it's a chunky sweater. Maddie.
Hi, Maddie. This is
Really?
Maddie.
Have you been like talking to Hamilton or something? Yeah. But it's also like it feels really good weight wise too. Like it's comforting weight wise. So.
And I get the sense from it that it's a chunky yarn, but not heavy.
Yeah, it's not heavy. It's just chunky.
Yeah.
Cute. No, I don't want kisses.
Is that it, Annika?
Yeah, that's it for my FOs.
Time for my FOs. Okay. Well, I have one spinning FO, or no, I have one knitting FO, and then myriad spinning FOs. 3 spinning FOs. I finished my Ripple Bralette.
Woohoo!
It totally fits. I love it. I will put pictures up here from my Ravelry page and Instagram so you can see what it looks like on, because you don't really get the full effect here. But I love it, and the yarn is lovely, and I've already worn it, and I just really like it. And so the pattern is by Jessie May Designs. It's called the Ripple Bralette, and I used Serendipitous Wool, the Atma base, in the wrought iron colorway, and I love the color. And I love the yarn. And it was a very fun knit. I did get a little stymied on the I-cord just because I was totally over it by the time I got there, even though it did not take that long at all. But I'm still going to knit it again. I'll totally knit it again, despite that. So that's just a normal part of any project, I think. I don't think it has to do with the pattern. I think with all patterns, even if you love it, by the time you get to the end, you're like, done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, my other FOs, my spinning FOs, is I finished some bats, spinning, plying, and washing some bats. So I finished this. I have no idea what this is. It's a random fiber. Sultan Spun Noah Diddyco gave it to me. I believe it's a merino. It feels like a merino. And I plied it with itself. This is just a 2-ply.
It's so pretty.
This was spun on my drop spindle and plied on my wheel. And this is going to Annika, who I gave the rest of this fiber to already. And I will be sending them this so then they'll have all of it. And you're going to get a couple 100 yards. I don't know how much, but.
Sweet.
Yeah. So this is one fiber FO. Another fiber FO this is some more what I believe to be merino top that was gifted to me by Spun Noma Diddyco, and he dyed this one himself. That one he didn't. And this is for me. And I believe I love it. It's like all these browns and like burgundy. I just love it. So I think with this, I am going to knit a like bandana cowl with it. I'm just going to make up a pattern, but I think I'm going to cast on. A lot of times you cast on at the cowl part and then knit down and then start going back and forth. But I think I'm going to do the inverse. I think I'm going to cast on and increase up so that way I can try it on and have it be the width I want so that it's not too wide and not too narrow. And that's what I'm going to do with this, I think. So, yeah. It's really soft and squishy. And I love it. It smells so good. So that is another one. And then my final spinning FO is this, which I bought this braid at Stitches Midwest. And this is all the fiber I got from it. I love it. Yep. I got about a worsted weight on this one. The other one was maybe sport. This one was all done on my wheel, pretty much. The other ones were spun, some on my drop spindle, that maroon one, some on my wheel, but mostly on my drop spindle and then plied on my wheel. This was all done on my wheel. And it is Blue Moon Fiber Arts, and I think this was maybe BFL, which I love BFL, I've decided. And this is the Dark Side of the Blue Moon is the name of the colorway. And it's all the gorgeousness.
It's so pretty.
I don't know yet what I'm going to do out of this. I was thinking maybe a shawl or something for myself, like a bigger kind of thing, because there's more of it and I don't want to waste any. And I think that's it for my FOs. Lots of spinning happening at Casa Tomboy Femme Bags because I'm doing a lot of bags for Bag Vent coming up next week, and I'm putting the finishing touches on a lot of bags. And so when I'm not sewing, I have done some knitting, but I kind of have mostly been feeling like spinning because I just figured out my wheel, and so I'm like a little bit hooked.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it'll not. I just, when I have these things, I go with it because I know it will balance itself out and the pendulum will come back to the middle. So, yeah. Okay. This brings us to whips. Annika, I have to find my crochet. Talk about your whips.
Okay. So for my first whip, I guess I'll just start with this one. This is Flax by Tin Can Knits. And I am knitting it in Karen 1 pound in the Cape Cod Blue colorway. And I am actually, like, currently, as we've been sitting here, splitting for sleeves, which is really exciting. I started this on Friday.
I love that blue.
And I'm here. I'm knitting the 54 or 55 inch size. And yeah, it's really fun. Like here, hold on. Let me get the sleeves that I just split. The sleeves have a really fun garter detail to it. And I had never done garter in the round before. So this was a new experience for me. Which, like, seems kind of silly since I've been knitting for 9 years, but, like...
In the round, people do stockinette, though, primarily.
I've primarily done, like, stockinette and, like, bead stitch and stuff like that, but I had never done, like, garter in the round before, so... But, like, it makes the sleeves look really cool. Like, I'm really, really excited to see how how it progresses down the sleeve, because, like, looking at the pictures, the garter detail goes all the way down. So I'm excited about that. And the other thing that I really like about this sweater, too, is that for the sleeves, you don't bind off. Like, you put them on waist yarn or yarn holders, and then you're going to pick them all back up again. So I don't have to, like, count while picking up sleeve stitches, and I hate counting while picking up sleeve stitches. So this already gets an A+ for me for that. Gold star, Tin Can Knits. Thank you.
Thank you.
Another whip that I have, because, like, everyone's getting sweaters for Christmas, is I'm making the Ellen cardigan by Ella Ray Yarns. And this is going to be for Linnea. I'm knitting the 12-year size. I finished the body of the cardigan. Though I did alter it a little bit. It doesn't have the pockets because, to be honest,
unsurprisingly, I like the stripe of gold in that with the pink and purple.
It's growing on me. Like, I really like the gray that they put with it, but I feel like the brown, like, tempers it a little bit. So it's not as, like, babyish, I guess.
Yeah.
But I have the body of the sweater done. I just have the sleeves and the hood and the band left, and then this will be done. The yarn that I'm using for hers is Karen Big Cakes in the cherry cake colorway. Also a what's it called? A clearance yarn. So her sweater will cost less than $10 by the time that I'm done with it. So that's really exciting.
Awesome.
And it'll be machine washable and dryable, which is perfect for kid sweaters because my kids do their own laundry and don't understand the whole point, or don't understand the whole, like, separating delicates and non-delicates because they're 7 and 8. And so because of that, all of their clothes are machine washable and dryable, hence the 100% acrylic sweaters for them. Let's see. Another whip that I have is I cast on a sock.
Yay.
And this is just a toe-up vanilla sock. It's going to have an afterthought heel. I'm knitting on size 1s, which is really exciting because I don't think my gauge or tension changed. It's just my body has changed, and so knitting on size 2s made it so the socks don't fit anymore. They're too big.
Have we seen that yarn before? I like it.
Yeah, so this yarn is the Me Too colorway by Malia Made It.
I love that. I'm gonna get some.
I love it. So yeah, I got this and the coordinating mini, and I'm going to use the coordinating mini for the heels. I think is my plan. So I have one more whip, and this whip is something that I've been working on for so long, but it's just I haven't had a lot of, like, just sit and knit TV time lately. Which is what this project is for me. And so I am knitting the Trelawney shawl by Clever Stitch. And, like, I just absolutely love this pattern. I'm really loving how it's turning out, and I'm really excited to see it finished. The yarns that I'm using are Forest Fiber Arts 4-ply sock. The purpley one here is... There we go. The purpley one is a one-of-a-kind colorway, and the cream speckly one is the bee's knees. And it's just so pretty and so lovely, and I can't wait to get it finished so I can actually wear it.
What percentage of the way done would you say you are at that?
Not quite half. Maybe, like, in between a third and a half.
Okay.
I think. But, yeah. I mean, these aren't the normal colors that I go for, but when I saw both of them on Nikki's site, I'm like, I need to have those to make this. So they called to me, and here they are. So, yeah, that's it for my whips.
Okay. Let's see. I have a lot of whips as well. A lot of spinning whips, not as many knitting whips this week. I didn't work on much. So I have this crochet whip. So you'll remember, I think back, like, early on when I started the podcast, I started a granny square blanket that was using scraps, my fingering scraps, and it has grown. And I just have more scraps that I want to use up. And sometimes lately, after the embroidery and knitting, my hands get sore, and so I just switched to do something else and want to make something. So, like, last night I was up and wanted to make something, and I was like, oh, I could crochet because it uses my other hand and totally different muscles. And so I picked this up again, which I hadn't in a while, and now I'm kind of into it. So I'm just going to use up some more of my scraps and make some more progress on it. What else have I been working on knitting wise? Well, socks. I did break more sock needles. So I have more coming in the mail, but I am this far on my partner sock, my partner Matthew. I'm to the heel. I'm past the heel point, which is impressive because he has a size 13 foot. So yeah. And this is, oh, and the crochet, I'm not even going to talk about yarns because it's just random scrap yarns and there's no way I'm listing them and figuring it out. This, however, is by Holst Yarn. This is the Highland. Their Highland, which is their sock yarn in the like marled black and white. And I love how it's knitting up.
So pretty.
I have to have Matthew try this on actually to see how tall of the cuff I want to knit because I'm at that point. But yeah, I really like it. Then, where did I put that bag? That's how I break needles. Okay. I don't think I worked on my striped sock, or did I, since last week? Before I broke the needles. I think I must have.
I think you did because you started the second sock.
Oh, okay. So, before the needles broke, and you can see one of the broken needles, I got this far on my striped sock for me, my second sock. So, I think the new needles get here Monday or Tuesday, and I'll keep going on this. This is the Rocky Horror Picture Show colorway by Valkyrie Fiber. This is just a plain vanilla sock. And it's a fun pattern. You know, it's a fun repeat. It's fun to do quick little knit, as all striped socks are. For me anyway. So that's that. What else did I do? The only other thing I really worked on, I didn't really work on my nether garments really since last week. I didn't work on my lion-hearted.
What about your yellow sweater?
Yeah, that. I did work, and I'm about to join the second ball of yarn on my EPS Elizabeth's Percentage System Seamless Raglan Pullover. This is a marker, by the way, by Crafticorn, Landon, of a trans guy who likes to knit. And I am about 3 inches away from where I start going for sleeves. So that is exciting. This is nice. It's just like round and round knitting. So it's nice brainless knitting. And I'm happy with it. This yarn is Retrosaria by Rosa Pomar. This is the Mondium base in, I can't remember what, it's a golden color. It's like golden yellow, maybe, I think that's what it's called. And it's fingering weight Portuguese wool with no superwash, which I am loving. And I really enjoy it. So then spinning whips, I have a couple to show. The first is, this is half of what I have spun and plied. Well, this is a Jacob top that I got in a natural color that I got from the Woolery. And I spun and plied about half of the bag that I got. And I got like an 8-ounce bag for like $11. And here's what's cool, is that Jacob, it's definitely toothy, but when you wash it, ply it and wash it, it softens up quite a bit. And I am really loving it. This is like the 2-ply. I feel like my plies started getting more consistent with this one. We'll see. I mean, that's just going to happen. That's just going to come and go as you learn. But I think I'm getting like, I haven't measured it yet, but I think I'm getting like a DK or worsted on this. Maybe. So yeah, this is Jacob top from the Woolery that I spun on my wheel. Then my other spinning whip is on the bobbins because I'm going to hopefully finish spinning it today, maybe tonight. This is, I love it. This is 4 ounces. This is most of it. I mean, I have like maybe another 1 ounce left to spin, I think. maybe a little more than an ounce, but this is about 2 ounces, and then I'll put 2 more on here. And it's from a 4-ounce braid that I got from Hopkins Fiber Arts, Hopkins Fiber Studio. And this color is called Cider Donuts. It's 100%, it's merino, and I love it. And I cannot wait to ply it and see what it looks like. And it's been really fun to spin. And I'm spinning that on my wheel, too.
It's so pretty.
And that's it. That's all my whips, I think. Is there anything else that I've worked on this week? Sewing.
So much sewing.
That's it. And I'm excited I have about 4 more days of work, and all the bags for Bag Vent will be done. I'm going to finish up the last patches today. There's like 5 bags worth of patches that need to be done, and then I'm going to 6 of the bags of the 24 are completely done, and everything else, all the parts are cut out and everything and sewn except for the embroidery. So all that needs to finish, So basically, once I finish these patches today, all that needs to happen is assembling of the other 18 bags. And I can do 6 in a day pretty easily, so it'll just take me like 3 days. Because I'm breaking them up into 6s so that it's not totally overwhelming and too much. So I'm kind of ahead of the game on my Bag Vent game, which makes me happy. And then when I'm done with it, I have 2 custom orders that need to go out. One I need to finish, one I just need to sew together. And then that's it. Then I'm taking December off, and I can read and do, hi Maddie, and do research and figure shit out. So yeah. And then I'm excited to just make gifts for friends and things like that. That's it.
Sweet.
That's it for my whips. Okay. Should we do the mental health moment?
Let's do it.
Mental health moment. This week's mental health moment is brought to you by the letter I for irritated and the number 8, which is the number of people who got to watch me slowly devolve. I think. This week's mental health moment is about knowing your limits, I think, is how would you phrase it, Annika?
Yeah, I'd say knowing your limits.
Yeah. So, we were on Stitch Group last night. We have Stitch Group, by the way, every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, which is UTC -5. And we were having a Stitch Group, and I just hit my wall with people. And I hit a wall. And I think what happens when I hit a wall is I don't always realize it right away, or else I realize it and I'm like, but I'm going to push through. And that does not work. If you're ever telling yourself, I'm going to push through, we're not therapists, by the way. We should tell you that. At all. We're not licensed.
And you're actively pushing a baby, we do not recommend personally pushing through.
Yeah. Don't. I don't know. You describe it, Annika. I'm running out of words. Because I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is I don't know what it looked like from the outside because I'm me, Yeah.
I mean, from the outside, it was like, in case y'all haven't noticed yet, Farrah generally isn't a quiet person. Which I'm not saying is a bad thing or whatever. Like, it's Farrah's a talker, and that's awesome because I'm not great at that. And so, but like, for me, I was just watching you get like quieter and quieter, and quieter, and then you would just start disappearing. Like, you would just leave. and yeah, that's that's what it was like for me watching. And I know, like, Sultan and I made eye contact a couple times, like when we just watched you, we were like, huh, okay. And yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I think what happens is I try and make it as long as I can, and then I just can't anymore. And so I like then DM'd Annika on Instagram and asked them, I was like, hey, do you mind hosting? Because I am going to go sew. And they were like, okay. And so I did. And I just needed like some quiet, and I had it. And then later we chatted when I had some quiet time later in the evening. The three of us touched base, and it was funny because I was like, I think things that I normally can tolerate, like when I've hit my wall, I become more irritated at everything and am less tolerant of it. And Annika was like, they mentioned, yeah, and we got to kind of see that happen live and in person today. And I was like, yeah, probably so. Thoughts? I just
all of this to say,
yeah,
like, when you figure out what your limits are, like, one, respect them. Your limits don't make you a weaker person than someone else because you have different limits. And two, with situational limits like this, realize that those limits might not always stay the same, and that they are your body's way of telling you where your body's at, and that something needs to change to take care of it in a healthy way, and that's okay. And like I said earlier, unless you're actively pushing a baby out of your body, that continuing to push through is not something we recommend, because you can end up doing more emotional harm to yourself than good. So
yeah, and I think there are different ways you can tell when you've hit your wall. For me, I start getting really irritable, and I just want to yell out, like, everybody just shut up. And so, like, that's a good sign that you're at your wall for me. I think just paying attention to what you're thinking and feeling, and if you're having unwanted thoughts and feelings, maybe pause and examine those. Like, where are those coming from? What's going on? Like, what is my brain and body trying to tell me? Yeah.
Yeah.
And also know that you don't have to catastrophize. Like, there are plenty of stitch groups where I'm, like, in it. And last night I wasn't. And that's okay. And I don't have to, again, like we said last week, pick that apart and understand it and explain it. I just had a week where I got tired quickly. And that's okay. And it doesn't mean that every week is going to be that way. It just means last week was.
Yeah. And, like, I've had those weeks too where I'm like, I just
can't
do this anymore. And he'll text me and be like, I'm going to go to bed. Good night. And then we'll be on, like, Netflix or YouTube until my body has decided that we are done and feel better.
Yeah. So I want, how do you all know when you're done? Comment so that other people who maybe aren't sure how to tell when they're done or are learning how to tell when they're done, it could, like, spark an idea for them. Like, oh yeah, I do that. And feel free to put a thing in the description box letting us know. Any other things we should add to this mental health moment? I feel like this is pretty brief, which is fine, but
considering how long our mental health moments the past couple weeks have gone. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay. If you find yourself hitting your limit over things that didn't used to like bother you, but are bothering you a lot more often now, a therapist would be a good person to talk to get help with that.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in that.
Therapy is awesome. Generally.
Yeah.
Okay. So in conclusion of today's episode, we do Instagram lives on Wednesdays and Fridays. Whenever I get up, and Wednesdays is usually we talk about the top patterns in Ravelry that we feel like talking about, where the designer is being inclusive and all the things. And on Fridays, we go over acquisitions, which is a great time to learn about new indie dyers, makers, things like that. We have a hoot on those things. Sometimes it's pretty normal. Last time, it was awesome. Lots of laughing happening last time.
So much laughing.
Yeah. So feel free to join us on any of those. Once you do too, you're officially part of the posse of weirdos. I've just randomly decided right now. Which is what we call our kind of community of friends. We're all having fun together, and yeah. That's it. So if you liked the podcast, subscribe and give us a like. You can become a patron. Lots of ways to show your love and support.
You could also DM us and tell us how awesome we are, too. That's also a great way to...
You can do that as well.
Love and support.
It's true.
We're always here for verbal acknowledgement of how awesome we are.
We are. Okay. So thanks for joining, and we will see you next week, right? And
yes.
Yeah, that's all. Bye, folks. Thanks for joining.
Bye.